Hi, Montana. Day 64 of the legislature. This morning in Business and Labor, we heard a bill that at first glance kind of looks like it's exempting the insurance auditor from some of the steps of auditing insurance to protect consumers. So that's disconcerting. We heard one bill, House Bill 657, to make a plan to phase out styrofoam in the restaurant industry and grocery industry in Montana. And we heard a joint resolution to study the living wage. The process here is that we'll start passing a bunch of study resolutions, and when we vote to pass them, it doesn't mean that they automatically are going to get studied. It means that they will be on a list that gets presented to every legislator, and each legislator will be able to rank for each interim committee their priorities. And so when we pass a study bill, we're just adding it to the list so that legislators can choose whether or not it's a priority. There was really only one lobbyist who came in as an opponent to studying the living wage, but he said that he represented the Retail Association, the Restaurant Association, and the Chamber of Commerce. And when he brought his opposition, he basically said that the end game of this study is higher wages, and we are just against that. And I was so astounded by his willingness to say that on the record and his opposition of studying what, could turn out in his favor. It's a study that I asked him, several other members of the committee asked him, and he tripled down on his opposition to studying a living wage in Montana. Then we voted on some bills that we've already heard, and the committee on party lines pretty much failed both of the bills aimed at preventing puppy mills. And these are House Bill 570 and House Bill 582. And I want you to know, I archive my emails so that I can just take a glance at a topic and see how many emails I've received on a topic. In the breeders or puppy mills folder, there are more than 500 emails, and that's just on these two bills, 570 and 582. And all of those emails went to all of the members of the committee, because when people send us messages, they just send them to the Business and Labor Committee. So it's not that my email is different than anybody else. And the overwhelming majority of those emails are for House Bill 570. People are desperate for a licensing system to help us prevent puppy mills. To put that in perspective for you, if you put some really, really big topics like the budget, funding for senior and long-term care, tax brackets, income tax, gas tax, those things that I just mentioned combined probably have garnered fewer than 100 emails. So 500 emails just asking for us to license commercial pet breeders is a really big deal. And I know I shouldn't be surprised. I should have learned by now, but I was surprised today that the members on the committee could be just so blatantly deaf to their constituents from all across the state and vote against those bills. We did pass the air ambulance bill, though, that holds patients harmless when they receive these ridiculous balance bills from air ambulance companies. So, as always, some bad news and some good news. On the House floor today, the majority party failed a bill to raise the per diem rates for public employees. And right now, those per diem rates are the same as they were 20 years ago, and they're so low that our public employees that have to travel for their job, that's unavoidable travel, are actually losing money by doing so. And there are employees, and the majority party said, nah, we're not going to help you out. We also passed a bill that raises the registration on your vehicle $2 per year in order to pay for the eradication of noxious weeds. We passed a bill to legalize blackjack. And we passed a suicide prevention bill yesterday. You probably remember me talking about House Bill 265. That got sent to appropriations even though it had $0 attached to it. That's, I think, was just to kill the bill. And of course, appropriations killed that bill this morning. The House did today pass another suicide prevention bill. So, try again. We didn't get through all of the bills, so we had to take a recess so that we could go to committee. We came back at 5:30. We had already heard 8 bills, and we heard 4 more this evening. And this evening we passed a bill for economic development on Indian reservations and a bill to provide for a special license for first responders to provide emergency care for veterans. Good conversation around the 4 bills we had this evening, and I will give you another update tomorrow. We're going to have 2 more floor sessions tomorrow, so it'll be a late video. Thanks.